Good morning. Let's start the daily discussion. The first topic that we want to discuss today regarding RBI's discontinued incremental cash reserve ratio. Why RBI introduced it? Why again RBI decided to discontinue incremental cash reserve ratio? This cash reserve ratio is percentage of RBI's NDTL which it keep with CRR is a percentage of the NDTL of a commercial bank which it keep with the RBI. Okay. CRR cash reserve ratio is a percentage of the NDTL which the commercial banks keep with the RBI. Okay. The RBI recently declared that it would pay out the incremental cash reserve ratio. The amount mentioned in the news will be released by the center. The Reserve Bank of India recently declared that to pay out the incremental cash ratio, the central bank will gradually release the funds that banks have been holding under the incremental cash reserve ratio. How will the RBI carry out the ICRR discontinuation? Guarantee a gradual transition and avoid unexpected shock to the system's liquidity. The withdrawal of the ICCR will be implemented in stages. So that means this will not be implemented at one go, but RBI will do this in phases. Means so in subsequent phases, RBI will go for implementing this reduction of incremental cash reserve ratio. Guarantee gradual transition and upward unexpected shock to the system's liquidity. The withdrawal of the ICRR will be implemented in stages. 25% of each bank's impounded funds will be during the ICRR's first and second phases. By taking a cautious approach, bank will have enough liquidity to handle the anticipated spike in credit demand over the festive season, because as the festive season is approaching, so there will be a demand for cash in the market. And this releasing this ICCR, Reserve Bank will be able to fulfill the demand of the market. Okay. By taking a cautious approach, bank will have enough liquidity to handle the anticipated spike in the credit demand over the festive season. Because with the Dasara, the Ganesh Chaturthi and Dasara, then the Kali Puja and the New Year, the festive seasons are starting in the country, and this will facilitate the banks to fulfill the cash reserve ratio in the market. Okay. The cash demand in the market. So on August 10, 2023, the RBI announced that banks would be required to maintain an incremental cash reserve ratio of 10% on the rise in their net demand and time liability. Okay. Because these 2000 rupees denomination notes were deposited or withdrawn from the market, so huge amount of cash came to the commercial banks. Commercial banks are flooded with cash because this government decision, RBI's decision to withdraw the 2000 rupees denomination note led people to surrender those notes in the banks. That enhanced the amount of NDTL, net demand and time liability of the commercial banks. And because that increased considerably, the government decided, RBI decided to increase the incremental cash reserve ratio of the commercial bank to maintain stability in the financial market. Fine. The NDTL is the difference between the total of a bank's demand and time liabilities with the public or other banks and the held by other banks. Reviewed either in September 2023 or earlier at the decision. The incremental cash reserve ratio was implemented by the RBI as a temporary mechanism to control activity in the banking system. Because as these 2000 rupee notes were surrendered, so okay. So the elimination of 2000 banknotes was one of the cause that contributed to the surplus liquidity. Capital inflow, an increase in government spendings, and a transfer of RBI surplus to the government. Effective liquidity management was required since this liquidity boom had the potential to undermine both price stability and financial stability. ICCR's effect on liquidity situation: over rupees 1 lakh crore of extra liquidity from the banking system could be absorbed by the incremental capital cash ratio strategy. The ICCR mandate caused the banking systems to momentarily go into deficit on August 22nd, 2023, which was made worse by the GST related outflows and central bank intervention to stabilize the rupee. What does cash reserve ratio stands for? The CRR is a ratio of the amount of cash that must be held in reserve, the total out of bank deposit or the NDTL. All banks in India must deposit CRR funds with the RBI, with the exception of regional block banks and local area banks. According to RBI Act 1934, the RRB and the LAB are exempt from keeping CRR with the RBI. They must, however, keep CRR on hand for themselves in form of cash, gold, on encumbrant authorized securities. Okay. Banks cannot utilize the CRR funds for investment reasons. They cannot lend the funds to business or private borrowers, and they cannot get interest on the funds. Okay. The reserve cash must be deposited to the RBI. Since the RBI holds a portion of the bank's deposit, they ensure the protection of the money in case of emergency. When clients request their deposit be returned, the money is easily accessible. The CRR assists in controlling inflation. The CRR is raised by the RBI when there is a rise of significant inflation in the economy, which forces banks to hold more cash in reserve, and as a result, lower amount of. Okay. Okay. So when clients request the deposit anytime, the money is easily accessible. CRR assist in controlling inflation. The CRR is raised by the RBI when there is a risk of significant inflation in the economy, which forces banks to hold more cash in reserves and as a result lower the amount of cash that is available to them. This reduces the economy's excessive money flow. The RBI reduces the CRR rate when there is a need to inject capital into the market. It enables banks to lend to many more people. Reserve cash must be deposited to the RBI because Hmm, 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 hmm. Yes, it is. Federal reserve government. Okay. So the RBI reduces the CRR rate when there is a need to inject capital into the market, which enables bank to lend to many more people. Your cash must be deposited to the RBI because a portion of the bank's deposit. Every commercial bank is required to maintain the CRR and other monetary instruments, but not the non-banking financial companies and the regional rural banks. Okay, and the local banks also are not authorized to, not mandated to keep the cash reserve ratio. ICRR is being used by RBI in demonetization and why it is being used. The event of certain influx of liquidity, such as during demonetization, RBI has decided to implement the ICCR because during demonetization, huge cash returned to the banking system because people deposited their cash, the notes which were demonetized or which were right now like the 2000 rupees notes which government want to withdraw, people in large number, so they deposited that in the banks. That is why, so as a result of that, government the RBI decided to implement this incremental cash reserve ratio provision. Okay. So in the event of sudden influx of liquidity, such as during demonetization, RBI decided to implement the ICRR, incremental cash reserve ratio. After the demonetization of the 5,000 and 1,000 banknotes in November 2016, RBI adopted the incremental cash reserve ratio. It enabled the RBI to handle the problem without modifying other monetary policy. This accuracy can be quite important. Okay, particularly in unusual circumstances like the demonetization. The ICRR may be put into practice rather fast when there is an unexpected increase in liquidity as a result of a significant event like the return of the central bank, may require a technology that may be quickly implemented in the case of demonetized currency. The ICRR is primarily meant to be a short-term solution. It can be implemented to temporarily observe excess liquidity and hedge out after the liquidity situation has stabilized. However, other instruments like the repo rate and the statutory liquidity ratio, etc., may have a longer lasting and more gradual impact on liquidity. What monetary policy tools does the RBI have at its disposal? Moral persuasion. This non-binding strategy entacts the RBI communication and persuasion to affect banks' lending and investing practices. So this discourage banks, RBI to this, that the moral persuasion or moral suasion discourage banks to lend more to the market because this may create enhance their financial risk. Okay. Direct credit control, there are policy that restrict the distribution of credit to particular industries or sectors. Further, its policy goals, the RBI may provide instructions about lending to specific industry, establish credit ceiling. Okay. Credit ceilings for different. sectors. Selective credit control are more targeted than direct credit control and aim to reduce demand for particular loan type like consumer credit in particular sector of the economy. Okay. The qualitative, so RBI has so RBI's credit control can be divided into two. So the credit control method of RBI, so say something like this: the credit control by RBI may be quantitative or qualitative. In quantitative, it is the bank rate, the repo rate, the reverse repo rate, the CRR, the SLR, the MSF, etc. And the quantitative. In qualitative, it's the moral suasion, credit rationing, okay, margin limit, and the qualitative one. Fine. So selective credit control is more targeted than direct credit control and aim to reduce demand for particular loan types like consumer credit in particular sector of the economy. Fine. Quantitative, as I told, cash is the ratio, repo rate, reverse repo rate, the bank rate, the bank rate, open market application, liquidity adjustment facility, margin standing facility, and the quantitative credit control method by the RBI. Statutory ratio also are the measure of the quantitative credit control method. Fine. Context global stock tech report and its recommendation. The next topic. Recently, the synthesis report of the global stock tech released by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change ahead of the 18th G20 in New Delhi. So before this G20 summit, the UNFCCC released the global stock tech. The synthesis report represents 17 key findings, painting a concerning picture of the world's progress towards Paris Agreement targets. While there is a limited window for correction action, the report echoes previous warning that global efforts are falling short. Okay, so this is the synthesis report presents 17 key findings, painting a concerning picture of the world's progress towards Paris Agreement targets. While there is a limited window for corrective action, the report echoes previous warning that global efforts are falling short. What is global stock take? The global stock take is a periodic review mechanism established under the Paris Agreement in 2015. The stock take takes place every 5 years, with the first ever stock take scheduled to conclude at the UN Climate Change Conference at the end of 2023. Primary objectives are to assess individual countries' efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emission and transition to renewable energy sources. The stocktake is designed to keep countries accountable and encourage them to increase their climate ambitions over time. In 2015, when the country committed to Paris to keep global temperature from rising beyond 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century and as far as possible below 1.5 degrees Celsius, they also agreed to periodically review or take stock of efforts made by individual countries in containing greenhouse gases. While countries have laid out their national contribution, they are expected to but not obliged to increase their ambitions every 5 years. As the latest NDC were submitted in 2020, a stocktake also aims to push countries to set higher targets before the next NDC are published in 2025. Okay, the key recommendation of the report: galvanizing efforts of Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement galvanized countries into setting goals and signaling the urgency of the climate crisis. Government needs to support ways to transition their economies away from fossil fuel business, and that states and community must strengthen efforts to change over from the use of fossil fuel. Equitable economic transition and rapid change could be disruptive. Countries should work on ensuring that the economic transition is equitable and inclusive. Much more ambition is needed to reduce global greenhouse gas emission by 43% by 2030 and further by 60% by 2035 and reach net zero carbon to emission by 2050 globally. Rapid change should be prioritized equitable and economic transition. Scaling up renewable. Okay. So renewable energy has to be scaled up and all unabated fossil fuel have to be rapidly eliminated. Deforestation and land degradation have to be halted and reversed. Agricultural practices critical to reducing emissions and conserving and enhancing carbon sink have to be encouraged. Fragmented adoption efforts by the world as a whole has committed to scale up steps to help adapt to unfolding and future impacts of climate change. Most efforts were fragmented, incremental, sector specific, and unequally distributed across the regions. Transparent reporting on adoption to facilitate and enhance understanding, implementation, and international cooperation. Addressing loss and damage, averting, minimizing, and addressing loss and damage requires urgent action across climate and development policy to manage risk comprehensively and provide support to impacted communities. Okay, because this climate change is not affecting all, but the vulnerable communities are more prone to this than the other, and steps should be taken that this vulnerable communities' interest is more protected. Support for adoption and founding arrangement for averting, minimizing, and addressing loss and damage from the impact of climate change need to be rapidly scaled up from expanded and innovative sources. Enhancing climate finance access. Financial flow needed to be made consistent with climate resilient development to meet urgent and increasing needs. A substantial shift. Okay. So, enhancing climate enhance financial flow need to be made consistent with climate resilient development to meet urgent and increasing needs. A substantial shift in financial flow is to low greenhouse gas emissions and climate resilient development. But the impact of global stocktake report, the global stocktake report influenced the G20 leaders declaration, a significant outcome of the summit. For the first time, the declaration formally recognized substantial financial requirement for transitioning to renewable energy. It noted the need for USD 5.8 to 5.9 trillion the pre-2030 period for developing countries, USD 4 trillion per year for clean energy technology by 2030 to achieve the net zero emission by 2050. And this amount will be raised by the developed countries because the developing countries are in no position to arrange this fund, but they are facing the major threat of the climate change. Okay, the next topic, Russia's support to North Korea's satellite plan. Russia and North Korea's leaders met recently for a summit at the Vaskocheny, a cosmodrome space station in Russia's Far East. As stated by Russian President Vladimir Putin, Russia could help North Korea learn satellite. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un said that Russia had his full backing in its sacred fight with the West. The leaders would discuss issues about getting supplies from North Korea to replenish Moscow's dwindling stock of weapons and ammunition. Because North Korea has abundant amount of weapons and Russia are facing a war with Ukraine, so substantial armaments have been used, and right now North Korea will supply these things to Russia. Issue and challenges, US and South Korean officials have expressed concern that North Korea leader could provide weapons and ammunition to Russia, which has expanded vast stock in more than 18 months of war in Ukraine. Because Russia has used many of its weapons, there is a requirement of weapons by Russia, and North Korea, so there is an apprehension that North Korea will come to the role to supply the ammunition to Russia. Significance location of the meet. The decision to meet at the Vaskocheny Cosmodrome, a major satellite launch facility of Russia, may communicate that Kim Jong Un see as a crucial next step in his effort to build a viable nuclear arsenal that could threaten the United States and its allies in Asia. Violation of the UN's resolution. If Russia does buy weapons from North Korea, it could be in violation of UN resolutions that ban all arms trade with the isolated country. Because since the Russia invaded Ukraine, the world has imposed arms embargo on Russia. And if Russia buys it from North Korea is also under the arms embargo. Both of them go on purchasing this deal is to violate the international situation. Okay. Ending isolation, North Korea's economy has been crippled by the pandemic era border closures, and Kim may ask for supply of food and energy to address the shortfall to Russia. North Korea's failure in launching military spy satellite. Kim's visit to Russia came after North Korea experienced repeated failures in this month to put its first military spy satellite into orbit. With Russian help, this mission will be successful. Increased threat of the DPRK mission scheme has punctured testing activity with an escalatory nuclear doctrine that authorizes each military to conduct preemptive nuclear attack against enemy if it perceives Wang's leadership as under threat. It has been authorized by the North Korean leader. If this is done, it will further aggravate the global security scenario. Then the storm-tailed macaws, some storm-tailed macaws have been brought to the Delhi Zoo from Mizoram. The scientific name, the maca arcodites, the name. Okay, so it is called the bear macaws. Okay. It is a primate species, primarily Guribus, they however also feed on many types of vegetation of animals. Habitat and distribution. The natural habitat of the stump-tailed mouse consists of subtropical and tropical broadleaf evergreen forest. It is found in South Asia, distributed in northeastern India, Myanmar, and China and Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Malaysia. Found in parts of Mizoram, Manipur, and Nagaland. Protection status listed on Appendix 2 of the CITES Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. India listed as a Schedule 2 under the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. They are listed vulnerable on IUCN Red List of the species. Okay. Vulnerable. National E-Vidhan application. The President of India inaugurated the National E-Vidhan application to address the Gujarat Legislative Assembly at Gandhinagar. National E-Vidhan is a workflow system developed by the NIC Cloud Megaraj, which helps the chair of the House to conduct the proceeding of the House. Chairman is the chairman of the House, the Assembly of the Parliament. E-Vidhan is a device neutral and member-centric application created to equip them to handle diverse house business smartly by putting entire information regarding member contact details, rules of procedure, list of business, notices, bulletin, bills, care and answered questions and answers, papers late, committee report, etc. in their handheld device, tablets and equip all legislature department to handle it effectively. E-Vidhan. The E-Vidhan will completely eliminate the process of sending out a notice request for collection of data. The application hosts a secure page for each member of the House for submitting questions and other notices. The aim of the project is to bring all the legislatures of the country together to one platform, thereby creating a massive data repository without having the complexity of multiple applications. The Neva is user-friendly mobile app of the eVidhan, which is available on Android as well as on iOS. The eVidhan has made information on the conduct of business in legislature accessible anytime, anywhere to everyone who has been authorized for this. Expansion of the PM Ujala Yojana. So, Indian Cabinet recently approved the extension of the Pradhan Mantri Ujala Yojana for releasing 75 lakhs LPG connections for 3 years from year 2024 to 2025-26. So, provision of 75 lakhs additional Ujala connections will take the total number of beneficiaries to 10 lakhs 10.35 crore. Because already 9 crore plus people have got this connection. After the existing modalities, Ujala 2.0, the first refill and stock will also be provided free of cost to Ujala beneficiaries. A targeted subsidy of 200 for 40.2 kg LPG cylinder for the up to 12 rupees per year is being provided to the PM Ujala beneficiary, and recently government declared another 200 rupees subsidy. So all total the Ujala beneficiary will get 400 rupees subsidy per cylinder to 12 cylinders per annum. Need for clean cooking fuel. Women's ease of living through clean cooking. According to WHO, approximately 2.4 billion people worldwide, one third of the global population, rely on open fires or inefficient stoves fueled by kerosene, biomass such as wood, animal dung, and crop waste, and coal for cooking. This lead to harmful household air pollution, contributing to an estimated 3.2 million deaths annually in 2020. With over 2,37,000 deaths with children under the age of 5. Achieving a sustainable and pollution-free future requires addressing the issue of household air pollution, especially to prevent suffering among women and children. Non-renewable wood fuels for cooking cause a gigaton of CO2 emissions, and burning residential solid fuels comprise 50% of the black carbon emission. They are also significant contributor to household air pollution due to incomplete combustion of solid biomass. Research also indicates that this is a gender problem. Girls and women face increased exposure to solid fuels. Cooking with solid fuels delay progress towards 5 of the UN SDG. The PMUY scheme achievements. The PMUY scheme has empowered women economically and socially. With easier access to LPG, women are no longer burdened with the task of collecting firewood or other traditional fuels, which often require long and laborious journey. Initiative to expand the LPG coverage. The Pahal Yojana, Pratyakya Hastantarita Labha, instead of providing LPG cylinders at subsidized price, these are sold at market price, and applicable subsidy was directly transferred to the individual beneficiaries' bank account electronically. Keep it up. Instead of removing subsidy forcefully, people are encouraged to voluntarily surrender their subsidy because those are affordable, they can afford. The sections who can afford their gas, so they are encouraged to surrender their subsidy on the LPG. Okay, so that is why because that amount saved will be provided to. Okay, so this is encourage the persons who can afford to forgo their subsidy, so that amount can be given to the Ujala beneficiary. Okay. Then the cybercrime investigation tool, it has been developed by the IHOP NTIHSC Foundation, C3 IHOP at IIT Kanpur, support to the Department of Science and Technology under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System. Okay, NMICPS, a tool for apprehending cybercriminals' mode of operation in a crime execution life cycle. It also compares module operandi, mode of operation used in different crimes and manages user roles and track activity for crime paths. At a TTPS based investigation framework would be highly effective as it restricts the number of forms and methods and investigations can be conducted and primarily relies on criminals. The TTP is lending to rapid conviction of cyber criminals. Uses to know the hacker or threat group or better understanding at attack framework, help focusing on investigation path, identify threat sources, define the severity of the threat and support incident response, help in identifying emerging threats and in developing threat and attack countermeasures. Okay, so this is a new development. Okay, the next is where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. This is told by APJ Abdul Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam, the President of India, had highlighted the importance of quality of righteousness through his quote and has given a beautiful connectivity between heart and character, nation and the world. Righteousness is the quality of being morally right and justifiable, which forms the basics for any peaceful and prosperous society. Every religion focuses on the quality of righteousness as a means to an end. Example, in Hindu mythologies and texts, the path to righteousness or dharma is regarded as the ideal path of ultimate duty for every human being. By the above quote, he laid down the path for enabling peace in society by focusing on individual rejuvenation as the locus of all activity. He aims to reform and integrate the whole society. For example, in the 3rd century BC, Asoka promoted the code of dharma in his empire, which was the set ideal social behavior of promoting peace and enabling prosperity in the kingdom. The contemporary society has been seen and tracing the path of righteousness behavior has shown more inclination towards the materialistic way of life, which has led to the eruption of several social and societal problems. If individuals follow the righteous path, they are more likely to spread happiness to others and succeed in their personal endeavor and will contribute to upliftment of their household status, which indirectly will contribute to the happiness and upliftment of the whole society. And then many social problems like the crime, corruption, mob lynching, etc., can be eliminated from the society. Similarly, the more prosperous society will contribute to a more prosperous nation. For example, terrorism has become a severe menace in many West Asian countries and threatening the safety and security of the whole world. Focus on enabling the order of righteousness in these nations contribute to maintaining peace in the whole world. Righteousness in multiple dimensions in the society with the indomitable spirit is essential for realizing the vision of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. If you have righteousness, then you can think of doing good for the society, simultaneously doing good for yourself, and this will promote the cause of Vasudeva Kutumbakam as promoted by the Indian mythology or Indian culture and right now by the Prime Minister of India. Coming to the MCQs, consider the following statement about the Bhuj wetland. Okay. Okay. So consider the following statement about the Bhuj wetland. Consists of two contiguous human-made reservoirs located in the city of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Recently, the Kaliju National Park and the Bhuj wetland were added under the Montreal Report mentioned under the Ramsar Convention. Here, both are correct. So, 1 and 2. Consider the following statement. SID platform serves as the India's digital public infrastructure skill development and entrepreneurship system. That is, uh, right? The department is part of the World Bank assisted skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for management program, Sankalp program, right? Sankalp program is the program for social justice and empowerment. So the two are right. Okay. So incorrect is one, the three is incorrect. So that answer is one. The one is incorrect. Consider the following statement about the Bandipur Tiger Reserve located at the ecological confluence of the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. That is right. It is part of the larger Nilgiri Biosphere region, which is recognized by the UNESCO World Heritage Site. That is right. It is surrounded by river Kabini in its north and the river Moyar in the south. So here three are correct. One, two, three of the three are correct. Then MotoGP recently seen in news is an autonomous with the no autonomous loading bearing robot. No, the oldest motorsport championship in the world. That is right. So option is B. Consider the following related initiatives: National Judicial Data Grid. Okay. Then the e-Seva Kendras, the National Service for Tracking Electronic Process, and the virtual course. So, how many of the above initiatives are launched under the e-code project? All the four have been launched under the e-code project by the government, especially under the strict supervision of the Supreme Court of India. That's the following statement with reference to Indian Council of World Affairs. So, it was established by a group of Indian intellectuals before Indian independence. That is right. It is declared as an institution of national importance by the Indian Council of World Affairs Act 2001. That is right. Vice President of India is the ex-officio president of the ICWA. All the three are correct. The MQ-9B, okay, which was recently seen in the news related to unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) or drone. It is a drone. What? MQ-9B is a drone. That's the following statement regarding the Vidya Samiksha Kendra. It serves as a data repository for all initiatives run by the Indian Ministry of Education. That is right. It will aid in calculating the gross access ratio by mapping the school location layer with the popular layer. So here both 1 and 2 are correct. Then Eastern Maritime Corridor, the proposed maritime corridor between the countries, so it will be between India, Russia, and India. Eastern Maritime Corridor between Russia and India. Recently discussed about this. Consider the following statement with reference to voter verification paper audit trail. Okay. So it is a machine that is attached to the EVM, okay, electronic voting machine that provides that provides feedback to voters using a ballot-less voting system. because EVM is a machine which promotes that that so से पिला को काली से स्कॉलरशिप टेस्ट था तो से पिला को सर सर 700 कौन जो 10 साल कौन दिवस 10 साल परीक्षा पढ़ा सुविधा से कोई को जो डाइट ऐसे आधार कार्ड नहीं कैसे हो सर ताको कौन से जॉइन कर जीवो सर न सर मतलब आपन काम करू ताको कौन तो कोई से आज जॉइन कर जीवो ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन न करो सर मु क्या କଥା ଯେ ନବେ ପିଲାଟା ଆସନା ସେଠି ଯେତେ ନେବି ସବୁ କାମ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କର ସାର୍ ସାର୍ କର ସାର୍ ସେ ପିଲାକୁ ମତେ କଲ୍ କର Okay. So it is a machine that is attached to the electronic voting machine that provides feedback to voters using a ballotless voting system. There is a transparent window that shows the name, serial number, and election symbol of 7 seconds to the voter. Okay. So here both are correct to reform the election system more to ensure transparency. The VVPAT machine are right now being added. Okay. Okay. Added to the machines. Okay. And so they're attached to the EVM tablet. So the voter who cast his vote can verify that whether what he has the EVM button, whether it is the right or not. So this to, and in case of any controversy, so the number of vote shown in the EVM and the VVPAT slips have to be tallied to ensure the cross checking. Fine. So thank you for watching. Keep watching regularly to update yourself. Thank you. Okay, so start to देखिए